In this video, we're talking about everything you need to know about why you might not want to move to Utah, why people move out of the state, and why people absolutely hate living here in the state. We're going to cover 5 or 6 different reasons. I'm going to break it all down for you here as somebody who grew up here and has lived here his entire life. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly here in this video. What's going on, you guys? My name is Cody Steck, your favorite Utah realtor. If you're a new viewer, I want to welcome you here to the channel. If you've been here before, I want to welcome you back for another video talking about Salt Lake City and what it's like to actually live here. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about 5 or 6 different reasons why people hate living here, why they move out of the state, and overall just why they don't want to live here. And maybe it'll give you some guidance on why you might not want to move here if you're considering relocating to the area. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the negative sides to Salt Lake because no area is going to be perfect. There's always going to be pros and cons to every single area. And these are going to be the 5 or 6 things that I've noticed that people don't like. So jumping into number 1, this is something that's actually kind of affected me personally, is going to be the 4 seasons. You know, it's really nice on one hand to have the 4 seasons here in Utah, but after a while, it can get a little bit old. Sometimes you don't like the winters that we have here in Utah. It seems to be a national trend where people are moving from the colder areas down to the south where it's warmer year round, and they really appreciate that. So for me, having grown up here, I used to love winters. I used to love playing outside, playing with snow, going snowboarding and skiing every single year, going, you know, dozens of times a year. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of fallen away from that. I don't really get out and go skiing or snowboarding as much, and so those winters seem to drag on. Winter here is going to last from about November all the way through about April, and so you've got about 5 or 6 months of winter weather, and that can kind of seem to drag on, right? You've got the longer periods of those shorter days, you get the cold weather, and of course you get lots and lots of snow. Last year we had record snow, and this is something that you just have to learn to deal with if you're living here in Utah. So if you're somebody who is no longer loving the snow, then that might be a reason why you move out of the state. Now, some people will look at that and say, hey, I absolutely love this. I love having the 4 seasons. I love having winters where you get tons of snow because I want to ski and go snowshoeing and ice climbing and all this stuff. And if you're one of those people, then this probably doesn't matter for you. But for some people, that's going to be a thing that turns them away. So as we jump into number 2 here, make sure to watch this video all the way till the end. I'm covering some of the more minor things here at the beginning because I want to get through these, and then we're going to talk about some of the more major points of why people hate living here or why they move away from the state. So make sure to watch this video all the way till the end. Number 2 on our list is going to be, they move away for a job or for college. Here in Utah, we do have some very good universities. We've got the University of Utah, we've got BYU, and a number of other universities throughout the state that people go to. However, if you're looking to go to like a Harvard or Yale or Stanford or a Duke or whatever it is, there's a lot of people who go away to go to college, and then they just end up staying, either in that state where they went to college, or they end up getting a job and living in a different area entirely. They never make it back here to Utah. The other thing that kind of goes in conjunction with that, maybe they're not leaving for school, but they're leaving for a job opportunity. Here in Utah, we are fortunate enough to have tons and tons of job opportunities, but every once in a while, there's still going to be opportunities in another state that really fit what somebody's looking for. Maybe it's the right place, maybe it's the right location, maybe it's the right pay, maybe it's just even the right opportunity for them, and so they decide to move away for a job. Number 3 on our list here is going to be a very big one, and I'm going to actually kind of combine 2 of them here together. Sometimes you just have family or friends that live elsewhere, or you just need a change of scenery. This is number 3 on our list. Sometimes you just need to get out of the state. You need to go somewhere else to really experience what it's like to live in another area. This is something I'm hoping to do at some point in my life, just to get a change of scenery, see what else is out there in the world. Or maybe you've got family and friends in a different area and you want to get back to living close to them. Maybe you got a lot of family on the West Coast or the East Coast or just in another state, and you want to be closer to those people. So maybe for that reason, living in Utah might not be the best fit for you. Okay, so now we're getting into the really good ones. Before we do that, I do have to say, if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also make sure to reach out. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I'm a local real estate agent. I want to be your trusted real estate resource. If you watch any of the other videos on my channel, I talk a lot about real estate and what it's like to live here. And I've had hundreds of people who've relocated here to the state reach out to me, and I've helped them buy, sell, and invest in real estate here in Utah. And I'd love to do the same for you. My information will be here on the screen. Please call, text, or email anytime. And with that said, let's jump into our next item here. Okay, so now we're jumping into the really juicy ones. We've got 2 big ones here that you really have to consider. These are going to be the more major factors that you have to consider if you're relocating here to Utah. So number 1 that I want to talk about here is going to be the high Mormon population. Now, it's no secret that Utah is really kind of the quote-unquote birthplace or the headquarters of the Mormon church. There's lots of Mormons here. The state overall averages somewhere between 40 to 60% of a Mormon population. We don't have exact numbers because unfortunately they don't release that information, but it's somewhere between 40 to 60% from my best guess based on the research that I've done looking into this extensively, because I get asked about this all the time. People ask me, hey, what do I need to know? What should I be concerned about? Is this something that's going to be in my face? Do I need to worry about it? Just like, what's your opinion on this? And I'm in the position where I can gladly tell people, kind of my honest opinion. I was a person who was born into the church at about the age of 16. I decided, hey, this isn't really for me. So I've seen both sides of it. I haven't been a member of the church for, the rest of my life since I was 16 years old, but I did kind of grow up in it. So I've seen both sides of it. And to be honest with you guys, it's not going to be something that's really all that concerning. Utah is becoming incredibly diverse. We're seeing more and more people move in every single day, and this is adding incredible amounts of diversity here to the state. In fact, you might be surprised to learn that the city of Salt Lake downtown area is only about 20% LDS population, despite being, where the church was really kind of settled and established. It sits at only roughly 20%. Now, you do have other areas such as Provo, Utah, which is going to be very, very high. That's going to be somewhere closer to 70 to 80% Mormon population. So it is going to vary based on where you're at in the state and what areas you're considering. But overall, I don't think it's a thing that you should really be concerned about. It is something to, definitely look into and research and kind of make sure that you understand and, feel comfortable with it. But it's not something that you should be concerned about. I hear tons of feedback from people who moved here and they say, hey, I've got tons of Mormon neighbors. They're super nice. They're kind. Maybe we're not hanging out every weekend or anything, but they've never had an issue with it, right? It's not like they're throwing the church in their face and they're judging them and, just being a terrible person to them. Overall, it's been a very positive experience for, I'd say, probably 98% of my clients who've moved here who are not a part of that religion. So that's kind of number one of the two major ones that we have to talk about here. The second one I want to talk about is going to be the cost of living. To be honest, guys, Utah has gotten incredibly expensive over the last couple of years, especially when it comes to the cost of living. When it comes to housing, housing has gotten very expensive, right? You can really only find a single family home in most of the metro areas for about $450,000 to $500,000. That's for like a basic starter home, right? It's going to be a smaller home. It's going to be, maybe needing some repairs. It's going to need a little bit of love. And that's going to be a starter home at roughly $500,000. If you want a nicer secondary move-up home, you're easily looking at spending somewhere between $600,000 to $900,000, depending on the area and size of that home. So it has gotten very expensive. The cost of living has gone up. In fact, it was recently rated one of the most unaffordable cities when it comes to purchasing a new house based on where taxes are, insurance, and the cost of the house, as well as just with interest rates in general compared to wages. There was a recent article about this. I'd made a video about it. You can go check that out. But yeah, the cost of living has gone up. We are pretty fortunate on the other side, though, that, when it comes to property taxes and income taxes, it's a pretty good place to live. Property taxes are fairly low. Income taxes, they're sitting at about roughly 5%. We don't have a ton of natural disasters. We're subject to earthquakes, but beyond that, we don't have hurricanes. We don't have tornadoes or anything else that's going to be major. So, on a fortunate standpoint, insurance costs are pretty low here in the state, and that's something we do benefit from. So continuing on that point, the cost of living here has gotten expensive. It has gotten expensive to have a car, to get around, to go buy groceries, pay for utilities, pay for housing or rent, whether it's a mortgage or rent. It has gotten expensive, and that's one thing that causes people to move away. Now, of course, we still are not on the level that you're going to find in California or Seattle or Portland or even anywhere back east, right? You've got tons of eastern coast states that are going to be incredibly expensive, and we're still less than what those states are. But the cost of living has gone up in recent years, and this is driving people out of the state or causing them to reconsider moving here. If you're moving here from the Midwest, you're going to say, wow, Utah is incredibly expensive. However, if you're moving here from the Northeast or from the West Coast, you might be looking at it and saying, wow, Utah looks pretty affordable. I can get a massive house for X amount of dollars. That's way cheaper than what it is in my area. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and before you go, don't forget to reach out to me. If you're relocating here and you want to talk to me about your individual situation, I'd love to have you reach out to me. My information is here on the screen. Please call, text, or email anytime. Like I said, I've had hundreds of people reach out to me, and I've been able to help them make that successful relocation, and I would love to do the same for you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one.